Welcome to my channel, Travelly Voyage. Warsaw is not the kind of city that tries to charm you right away. It doesn't flirt, it doesn't pose, and it doesn't perform for visitors who arrive with expectations shaped by other European capitals. And maybe that's exactly why Warsaw feels different almost immediately, even if you can't explain it in the first few minutes. There's no obvious romance here, no postcard fantasy waiting for you around the corner, and no feeling that the city is trying to sell you a carefully packaged story. Instead, Warsaw feels focused, grounded, and quietly confident, like a place that knows exactly where it's going and doesn't need permission or approval to get there. That mindset slowly becomes visible as you walk, not so much in buildings or landmarks, but in people, and especially in women, because Warsaw women reflect the character of this city more clearly than anything else you might notice at first glance.
Poland is one of those countries that keeps changing, yet never loses itself. It has managed to modernize without forgetting its roots, holding on to tradition while embracing the future with confidence. Here, history lives in the streets, in the buildings, and even in the way people move. And yet, there's this energy, a forward motion that makes you feel the country is alive, still growing, still reinventing itself.
Less theater and much more practicality in the way everyday life unfolds. Women here reflect that same approach. They are independent, composed, and self-aware. Their confidence isn't loud or performative. It comes from stability and self-respect. Interactions don't feel rushed, and emotions aren't exaggerated. Everything feels measured, balanced, and intentional, as if time is respected here. What makes Warsaw women stand apart is not appearance, but attitude. There's a quiet seriousness mixed with warmth, and that combination reveals itself gradually rather than instantly. They feel comfortable in motion, comfortable in silence, and comfortable relying on themselves. In many European capitals, attention comes first, and substance later. In Warsaw, it often works the other way around. Interest grows through familiarity, through consistency, through showing up more than once, and being present rather than impressive. This creates a very different kind of attraction, one that doesn't rush, doesn't perform, and doesn't try to overwhelm. You don't feel entertained or chased. Instead, you feel noticed, observed, and gradually understood, just as you begin to understand the city itself. Warsaw doesn't soften interactions. It simplifies them. There's less guessing, less social theater, and far less emotional noise. People tend to say what they mean, and mean what they say, and that honesty changes the way connections form. The city itself supports this mindset. Warsaw is modern, open, and functional. Streets are wide, movement is clear, and public spaces feel designed for real life rather than visual display. That practical environment shapes how people interact, removing unnecessary pressure from everyday encounters. Women here respond to calm confidence rather than intensity, to consistency rather than sudden gestures, and to presence rather than performance. And that's what makes Warsaw feel refreshingly real in a continent filled with curated impressions and polished illusions. Warsaw doesn't try to be beautiful in the traditional sense. It doesn't compete with Paris, Rome, or Vienna, and it doesn't attempt to recreate their charm. Instead, it exists on its own terms, focused on progress, functionality, and growth. This is what makes the city memorable. Warsaw doesn't distract you with excess. It sharpens your attention. It doesn't overwhelm your senses. It invites you to engage with what's actually happening around you. People moving through their routines, conversations unfolding naturally, and life continuing without performance. Warsaw feels different because it doesn't pretend. And in that honesty, in that quiet strength, it offers something many European capitals no longer do, a sense of reality that feels grounding instead of exhausting. Warsaw is not a city you fall in love with instantly. It's a city you begin to respect. And over time, that respect turns into something deeper and more meaningful. Thanks for watching and for taking this walk through Warsaw with me. If you enjoy calm, honest stories about cities and the people who shape them, feel free to subscribe and continue the journey together.